Hi everyone. Welcome to the demo class of Strategic Business Reporting, SBR. Um, we're studying for the international variant of SBR, right? There are a few things that I usually discuss in the demo lecture. Um, and just a second, there are some students who want to join. Okay, so a few things that we'll be discussing over here, the course outline, how we'll go about it, when we start the course and everything, and what the schedule or the timetable would look like. Um, Moreover, we'll be focusing on, we'll be basically discussing how it's, how we're gonna actually um, cater the massive, content of SPR, right? First thing first, we know that's a professional paper. It's something that is compulsory. It's an essential strategic paper, right? So you have to definitely give it. The knowledge that you acquire in at SBR level, I always recommend my students to be very, alert and try to grasp it as much as you can. Reason being, if you plan to give AAA, SPR knowledge is very crucial at AAA level, right? So whatever knowledge you get at SPR level, you will definitely be, you'll be tested on this knowledge at AAA level, as well as if you plan to do ICAW, this knowledge altogether is carried forward to the corporate level advanced level corporate reporting paper of ICAW, right? Um, the paper itself, yes, there are a lot of things that are not the same as FR. In my last 7 years of teaching experience, because it used to be P2 at that time, corporate reporting, and now it's SPR, right? Things have changed a lot. The examiner expects you to be able to explain, expects you to be able to discuss or advise, right? Three things, like these three things are the most favorite things of an examiner at SPR level: discussion, explanation, and advice, along with supporting calculations. Hardly you'll see any questions where there's only calculation. Almost, I would say most of the questions have some kind of discussion, explanation, or advice along with supporting calculations. So that's, that basically reflects the examiner's focus is on you putting forward a show instead of just numbers. There's a difference when you professionally communicate with someone at an upper level. You don't just put forward the numbers and leave them to interpret whatever they want to. You actually put forward the numbers and you explain them what these numbers mean, because it's your working. So that's what the examiner is trying to actually, that is the scenario that the examiner is trying to imitate over here, by telling you that no, you don't just get away with putting forward the numbers. What you actually need to do is whatever numbers you put forward, because that's your calculation, you need to be able to explain it as well. Numbers should make sense, number one, obviously, and your explanation should be good enough so that this person reading it, the person looking at it, understands what's going on exactly in your calculation. All right, so that's the focus of SPR examiner. If you just put forward the numbers and you fail to explain, you fail to discuss or advise, it will get very difficult for you to pass the SPR paper, right? So your presentational skills, again, I totally agree that the paper is in English, but if English is not your mother tongue, it's not your first tongue, it's not, you don't speak it as a first language, then that's something the examiner in fact knows, right? If you read the examiner's report, they really care about the conjunctions and the punctuation, all these things, right? What they want to know is how well you've communicated within the domain of whatever English you know, how well you've communicated the calculations or your point, basically, right? If we look at the exam syllabus of SBR, things, obviously, there are certain topics. I basically created this chart for you guys to make you understand this, the level of knowledge you need when you go into the exam, right? Um, Category A is where you need complete knowledge of the topics. That means theoretical, application based. No matter what kind of question you get basically you need to be able to solve those questions. That's complete knowledge where you need it in those topics. And I'll basically refer it to FR as well. Working knowledge is where you should be able to calculate, because most of the areas you'll see either basic calculations or basic level explanation. That's all. The examiner won't test you in depth, basically, right? And category C knowledge is where you should be able to identify the right answer. That's all. Identify and just put forward the right answer, and you're done with it. Because obviously, again, the level of testing is not to that. It's not in depth, actually, right? Now, if you recall, there are several topics that you see in this list which have already been tested at FR level. See, the difference between FR level and SBR level is that you need to be able to, like I said, at FR level, you've got section A, section B, that is entirely, in a way, it's MCQs, right? You've got small cases and larger cases. Out of those cases, you get MCQs. You just have to choose one or two or fill in the blank, or you just have to choose the right option and you move forward to the next question. SBR, on the other hand, is, like I said, it's more focused on explanation. It's more focused on your presentation. It's more focused on your communication. Okay. You put forward a point and you argue it. Your point is correct, but you argue it in the wrong manner. You won't get the marks that you expect to get. All right. You won't get full marks for it. Simple as that. Right. Because even though you identified the correct point, you'll just get the marks for identification. There's no ECF, error carried forward, in this, right? So you'll just get the marks for the identification, but if your explanation is not right, you won't get marks for the explanation. And that is where the real marks lie. Identification is what? 1 mark. Explanation is 1 mark per valid point. So imagine the way you explain. If you factor in 3-4 points while you're explaining, that means there you go, you get your 4 marks, you get your 3 marks. That's where the majority chunk of the marks lie. All right. There are certain new standards over here. For example, yes, from taxation, let's say IAS 12 perspective, there are a lot of new areas that you'll see from the perspective of taxation. From the perspective of employment benefits, obviously that's entirely new for you guys. IAS 21, you'll see an entirely new perspective, IAS 21, along with consolidation, right? Related party transaction is purely disclosure based standard, right? IAS 27 was not part of FR. The ones highlighted in green along with separate FS basically is all part of consolidation. See, investment associates, business combination, consolidated FS, joint ventures, and disclosure of consolidated FS is all consolidation, right? You guys already know about EPS. IAS 34 wasn't part of FR, right? It's just, again, how you'll report, how you'll disclose and present numbers in your FS and disclosures. There are certain things with respect to impairment. Just I would say one extra topic with regards to impairment. With regards to IFRS 1, yes, that's new. IFRS 2 is new. IFRS 8 operating segments for you is new. IFRS 9, IAS 32 is like at a whole another level as compared to FR. All right, that's IFRS 9, IAS 32 is like at a whole another level at SBR level. Okay, at SBR you will get extensive questions regarding IFRS 9. Okay, so yes, obviously when we cover the details, we'll definitely cover whatever is in line with SBR. There are certain things that are not part of SBR even. In fact, there are certain standards that are not part of SBR. I'll give you an example. Let's say IFRS 4 or IFRS 17 or IFRS 6. These are not part of SBR. So these are not part of ACC at all, except for the diploma in IFR. When you do diploma in IFR, you will find that in the syllabus. You'll find those stands in syllabus, but apart from that, you don't have those stands in SBR. All right. Um, I'll take the questions in a while. Fair value measurement, yes, the content in a way is same, but you know, the level of testing is at a whole nother level. Similarly, IFRS 15, IFRS 16, the level of testing is at a whole nother level. IFRS for SMEs is new, and current issues is also new. And current issues, like, you know, current issues is one of the most important areas, right? Current issues mainly, basically, there are several current issues that we'll be looking at, including issues related to natural disasters and, you know, digital currencies, accounting for digital currencies, sustainability reporting, you know, performance measurement. So there are various areas with regards to current issues that we'll be looking at. All right. Yes, we'll be doing the standards. We'll be doing everything from scratch. Um, there is no, I won't be giving any. The reason why I'm giving references over here is because there are certain students who are from FR background as well, like who complete the ACCA from the beginning. For those who got the exemptions, you don't need to worry. We'll be covering everything from scratch, because it bothers me if I, you know, find out that my students, there's a particular topic that my students haven't covered with me. Okay, so that's kind of phobia or whatever you want to call it, but something that I have, right? I cannot live with that. Simple as that. Okay. So this is basically the syllabus outline. Your exam structure, you've got 100 marks exams in a computer based style, right? Computer based means that everything will be on a computer. The software that you'll have access to would be the Word and Excel. When I'll make you practice during the class, these are two softwares we'll be using, Word and Excel. All right, mainly Excel because you know, it allows me to calculate and simultaneously explain as well. But in the exam, you'll have, for explanation, you'll have Word, and for calculations, you'll have Excel. Just remember one thing: if you're using pens and papers and even calculators, you know, in today's time, you're wasting your time. You're not preparing for yourself for the exam. You're just preparing yourself to learn the content and stuff like this, but you're not preparing yourself for the exam. Okay. Having a laptop in front of you while you're taking class, I would call it a must now, because even if you want to take notes, even if you want to take extra notes, you should be typing it rather than writing it out on a piece of paper. Okay. Duration of the exam is 3 hours 15 minutes. That's 195 minutes, right? So you've got approximately, if you calculate it based on simple math, you've got 1.95 per mark, right? 1.95 minutes per mark. So I believe that's ample of time in a way where you are reading the question as well as then processing the information and then forming an answer. Obviously, I'm going to teach you, because at this level, at the professional level, it gets difficult to handle the information because there's a lot of it. And then you have to not just handle it, it's not just reading, it's processing and then forming an answer as well. Like you will reach the passing marks in 4 stages: effective reading, effective processing of information, formation of an answer, and then writing down of an answer. That means typing or calculating the answer, right? That's actually 4 stages. You need to be effective at all 4 stages in order to put out an excellent answer, even a good answer. If you want to put out, you need to be effective at all 4 stages: reading, information processing, answer formation, and putting out the answer in front of the examiner. If you take a lot of time in the first 3 things, you fail to put forward your answer in front of the examiner, despite excellent processing and excellent answer formation, you would fail to put it in front of the examiner, who's supposed to check your answer and give you marks on it. Since he won't find anything, because you've put in a lot of time in the first 3 steps, without focusing on the last, which is putting forward an answer in front of the examiner, you'll technically lose marks. Why? Because you lost time, right? So that is where effective planning and practice comes into play. Section A, you've got 2 questions. Section B, you've got 2 questions. Section A, the first question is usually 30 marks, right? Second question is 20 marks. Section A, first question will revolve around consolidation. You won't get whole and sole just numerical consolidation. That is, you won't just get prepare the SOF, consolidated SOFP or SOCI, or there will be some sort of explanation, some parts that where you'll have to explain as well, where you have to discuss as well, some accounting transactions, some financial reporting implication as well, accounting standard implication basically. Then question 2 from section A will also be based on accounting standards. From section B, by the way, remember current issues can come either in section A or section B. That depends on the examiner. All right. Section A, by the way, will also cater to ethics. Okay. Ethics is a very crucial part at each and every professional paper. Section B, you will see various areas. You will see interpretation of FS. It could be financial as well as non-financial information, not just FS, financial as well as non-financial information. You'll see accounting standards. You'll see current issues. Right. So this is what you will see in section B. Right. So you've got section A and you've got section B. Again, like I said, the paper is for 100 marks. The resources that you'll have access to, you'll have the lectures. For lectures, the schedule for this attempt is you'll have Friday, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. You'll have Saturday, so you've got 2 live classes and 1 recorded class. All right. And our first official class will be on the 24th, which is next Friday. All right. So our first official class will be starting the batch on 24th. Before 24th, there are a few things that I'll be sending you on the group as well. For example, the book and the kit and some initial technical articles for your basic revision, just basic revision, which I'll obviously be covering in a live class as well. So don't worry about it. Okay. Secondly, book is something that I recommend reading, right? I always recommend book reading. Kaplan kit is what we'll be using for our kit practice. Might also use BPP because Kaplan right now, the latest Kaplan is not available to me right now. I've tried searching it for, but it's not available to me right now. I've got the latest BPP, so might be using BPP. Again, the questions are the same. Those are all past paper questions amended for recent accounting standard changes and current issues. All right. So like everything is the same. It's just these are 2 separate companies. That's all. Right. With regards to technical articles, very crucial, very important. 2 sources. Number 1, ACCAglobal.com. And the second one is cpdbox.com. If there is any particular query that you have, for example, and you want to resolve it, you can also refer to iasplus.com. Okay. These are 3 areas where we'll be focusing with regards to the technical articles, excellent, beautifully written information, and easy to understand, summarized, but like summarized in detail. Okay. So along with my notes and my lectures and these technical articles, you're good to go. Book reading, like I said, is recommended, but it's optional. Your choice. If you want to read it, that's good, right? Kaplan, we'll be using the Kaplan book. I have the Kaplan book. I don't have the Kaplan kit latest, but I have the latest Kaplan book, so I'll be sharing it with you guys. Okay. So this is basically the overall resources we'll have. See, the strategy to prepare for this exam or for any exam, as a matter of fact, that I teach is we'll do one topic and we'll do the kit practice. We'll do the other topic and then the kit practice, and so on and so forth, right? So topic and then kit, topic and then kit, and topic and that then kit, right? Consolidation is something that I do it towards, that's like probably the last topic before ethics and current issues. Okay. So last accounting standards would be the consolidation accounting standards. And before the exam, like approximately, that's by the way an option. 1 week before the exam, what I usually do is I do a revision course, which for all registered students is free of cost. That this revision course is basically is for 3 to 5 days. It depends what type of queries I have, because this revision course is very specific to the students. So let's say the most amount of queries I'm getting is for IFRS. Let's say last attempt, the most amount of queries I got were from IFRS 9 financial instruments, right? So I focused on financial instruments. I focused on share-based payment. I focused on taxation. I focused on one of the, I remember 1 hour to impairment as well, right? So it depends on where the queries are coming from, because we've generally covered everything in detail along with the kit practice. So now this final revision course is where you guys come up with your queries and I resolve them one by one. It could be a kit question. It could be a question from some other source. It could be anything, like literally anything. All right. I literally helped students during my SBR. There were some literally good students I had who had access to ICW financial reporting, financial accounting and reporting professional level exam kit. They brought up the questions. I saw, obviously I cannot focus a lot on solving questions. I will just explain you the crux of it, and I'll just explain you the basics behind it, and I'll do the quick calculation, explain it to you, and we'll move on to the next query, because obviously the kit practice part has already been done, right? So I cannot focus on it in very detail, right? So that's the thing. Towards the end, mock becomes an option for the students who want to give a mock. Remember one thing, that if sometimes what happens is that you're comfortable with the knowledge, you're comfortable with everything, right? Mock for some students becomes a huge pressure. Why? Because they feel that it's the first time they're looking at the exam situation, and they're trying to attempt that. So in this case, what happens is, what I recommend is that you need to simply when you're practicing, when I give you some questions to practice at home, for example, obviously there will be certain questions that we'll be doing. There will be, in fact, majority of the kit will be covering in class, but let's say some questions I will definitely be giving it to you as homework as well. Whatever questions I give you as homework, I expect you to put a clock in front of you, time your answers. Time means that you need to figure out how much time you're taking to read the information. Again, 4 stages, right? Reading, information processing, answer formation, and communicating the answer to the in front of the examiner, putting forward in front of the examiner, right? So these are 4 things you need to focus on while you're timing your answers. All right. And apart from this, the students who do this exercise, mock becomes very easy. All right. There's another thing. Once you're done with your exam, like once you're done with all the content and kit practice and revision and everything, instead of doing the mock, that's my suggestion, like literally it's my suggestion, instead of doing the mock, it's better to go and do the specimen exam on ACCA's practice platform, because that is like as real as it could get. Simple. All right. So it's better to open up the ACCA practice platform, and in fact, whatever questions you want to do, try to open up the ACCA practice platform and do it on the practice platform, so that you get a hold of it and you get comfortable with the UI and all of these things. Okay. Do you understand? Now, if you have any questions, you can ask me. Would we have access to? Yes, you will have access to, for recorded classes, I use Google Classroom. So you'll have access to not just the recorded classes, but the live classes that you attend. They will be uploaded and you'll have access to all the classes. How many hours of self-study is required? You know that I would say that totally depends on the level of understanding. You know, your, say, for example, let's say we're doing a standard IS 16. We all know what IS 16 is. Even the university going students, you know what IS 16 is, right? Property, plant, equipment. Okay. Let's say we're doing a particular accounting standard IS 16. For you, it's very simple. You understand it, you know, like whatever you want to understand, you do it during the live class only. And you think that you're very comfortable with it, very less amount of hours just to revise it. But let's say you're struggling with IFRS 9, right? In that case, yes, you'll have to put in the hours. There's no minimum or maximum, because right now I'm not taking a private tuition. So I cannot tell you minimum or maximum. It's different for everyone. All right. So plus there's a factor of office going students as well. Even if you have to put in, let's say, 4 hours a day, you can't. If you're going to office, and let's say if you, especially if you're working in the, you know, the finance or the audit side, you know, 4 hours, you get 4 hours in a day for yourself only, just to have lunch and dinner and all, and you're done with the day. You go to sleep. After 3-4 hours, you have to wake up and go to the firm and, or the client or whatever, right? That's the life of someone who's in the finance or the audit industry, right? So it depends. Classes will end out. My target is to at least give you last 20 days, last 15 to 20 days to study. All right. That's what my target is, because by then we're done with almost the entire kit. We're done with all the content. We're done with the revision as well. So you don't have, and plus, if you are, just like you asked, if you're self-studying, you know, while you're taking the live classes and while you're practicing everything, then you don't need to worry about the last few days. Simple as that. Here classes have already been uploaded, like they're already uploaded, but yes, sometimes, you know, when I'm taking a live class, I feel, for example, let's say there's a class on a particular standard that I just took, I feel that it's, you know, the class that I just took is better than the one that is recorded and it's uploaded. I'll replace the current class with the previous class. That's all. Other than that, everything has been already uploaded. So you guys will be getting the Google Classroom link soon. Anything else? Position. Oh, that's a tricky question. What does position mean for you? I have a cross question. See, position could mean anything. It could mean a passing position. It could mean a nationwide position. Depends on you. Entirely depends on you. Whatever interpretation you want to take. Anything else? Yeah, exactly. The final grade. Yes, Akash, that's what I'm saying. If you attend the class regularly, daily self-study is actually not required, honestly. But like I said, if there is a particular topic that you're struggling with, self-study becomes mandatory, at least for that topic. Okay. Philip, you'll get that information. Shubham will send you the information. All right. I'll ask him to contact you, and you can get that information from Shubham, and he'll let you know about everything. Anything else, guys? Hira, tomorrow we're not having a class. Today we had a demo session, and the classes officially are being beginning from 24th. Tomorrow actually I have a demo session for another classes, another batch as well. Okay, no problem. Any other questions? That's good. Perfect. Perfect. Can we appear two papers? What two papers are you planning, Akash? One is SBI. What's the other one? That depends. And plus, what's your what does your day look like? If you're literally working for anywhere more than 10 hours or 12 hours, for example, I wouldn't recommend going for two papers. Akash, that literally depends on what papers you left with. I don't have complete knowledge of your situation, so I cannot just recommend you the papers. Might turn out to be a wrong recommendation. So if you can just WhatsApp me on my number, and I'll guide you. Okay. Just let me know what your situation is right now, what your work day looks like, and how many papers you're left with, so that I can I can, give you an informed decision. I'll put my number on Zoom chat. All right, it's on Zoom chat. Any other questions, guys? Yeah, please do that, Akash. And please let me know your current situation, okay? So that I can tell you about informed decision to take.